Hi, good afternoon and good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining this next section for our Connection Conference, Beyond the Algorithm, AI's Impact on Digital Marketing and Paid Media, featuring Alyssa Carolyn and Sarah Slater from Carnegie. Before we get started, we do want to tackle a few housekeeping items. As an FYI, this session will be recorded, and we'll look to make sure that's posted and provided to all attendees by the end of next week. All session attendees are on mute and off camera, and we did want to note that while you certainly have the functionality to ask questions throughout the session in both the Whova and Zoom app, we do ask that you default to utilizing the Zoom Q&A function during the session for any questions that you have, which we do encourage throughout the session. That'll make it easiest for us to monitor and make sure we're getting to all that we can. We will leave time at the end to try to cover as many questions as we can as well, so definitely make sure to engage however possible. If you do have any questions about the conference in general or any technical needs or anything like that, we ask that you email conferences@carnegiehighered.com, or you can message us through the Whova app through the Ask the Organizers Anything section in the community board. And finally, we do encourage you to be social during this and to post and share any of the tidbits and takeaways that you're gathering from the sessions that you're attending. So you can do so by using hashtag #TheConnection, as well as tagging at Carnegie HQ in any of your posts. So with that, I'm excited to introduce both Alyssa Carolyn and Sarah Slater from Carnegie to take us away. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mark. Good afternoon, everyone. For those who have tuned in for all the earlier connection sessions, we hope you've been enjoying the content so far. And for those that are just tuning in, welcome to the Carnegie Connection, and thank you for joining. Today's session is going to focus on the impact of how artificial intelligence has changed paid media and where we think it'll be going in the coming years. My name is Sarah Slater, and I'm a senior paid search specialist. My Carnegie persona is the intelligent and sympathetic advocate, which encompasses the colors silver, purple, and yellow. If you haven't heard of Carnegie before, we're a higher ed focused digital marketing agency that focuses on fostering human connection, and some of that includes our work using Carnegie archetypes. A little extra fun fact about me, my personal favorite use of AI is to generate images of cats doing human things. So as you can see on my right, I am here represented as an AI generated image of a cat working on this presentation. And I'll pass it over to Alyssa to introduce herself.
Love it, Sarah. Hi, everyone. Thank you all for joining this afternoon. My name is Alyssa Carolyn. I am a social media specialist here at Carnegie. My Carnegie persona is the compassionate and curious seeker, reflected by the purple, green, and orange colors. And I love using AI to brainstorm travel itineraries, whether it's for trips I'm actually planning on going on or ones I just like to daydream about.
So after we conclude this session today, our goal for you all is to have a grasp on how AI has already changed digital media, and then also have some ideas on where it's heading in the coming years. Now, we've seen its impact across so many different sectors of digital marketing: programmatic, ad copy, web, SEO, social, Google, and we're going to touch on just a few examples today that are just a handful of many that are out there. So just keep that in mind as we go through this presentation. So we're going to start off by going back to the origins of the term AI and how it's evolved over the previous decades. We're then going to jump into AI's impact on audience targeting, content creation, and campaign management. And then we're going to finish off with some predictions on where AI is heading in the coming years. And then please use the Q&A function to ask any questions. And if we don't have time to answer them, we'll definitely follow up with you after the session.
So without further ado, let's dive in. It truly seems like AI is the topic we can't stop hearing or talking about these days. And this interest seems really sudden, but AI has actually been around for decades. When I think about my own experiences with AI, I think my first introduction to it, whether I really recognized it as AI at the time or not, was probably watching the movie The Terminator with my dad, arguably a little younger than I should have been, but you know how it goes. So for many years, I thought AI was simply these hyper smart humanoid computers that were determined to take over the world. But AI is certainly not that, at least it isn't yet. But Star Trek, Westworld, R2D2, and C3PO in Star Wars, really any of those talking robots in those early sci-fi movies are those early examples of AI, whether we called them AI at the time or not. So I want to take us back further in time to the 1950s when AI began to be conceptualized. Alan Turing, widely known as the father of artificial intelligence, began to think about what a computer could do beyond its original programming. Thus, AI was born. Then it was a few years later in 1956 that the term artificial intelligence was actually coined by John McCarthy. Skipping ahead a few decades, we land in the early 2000s, and this is where we can begin to understand AI's relation to digital marketing specifically. Throughout the early years of the 2000s, we see social media and entertainment platforms start to use AI in their advertising and user experience algorithms, along with the release of Siri in 2011. We now enter the current decade, where AI seems to be advancing rapidly. New AI-powered campaigns are released by Google. ChatGPT, the chatbot we all know and love, is released. And so by now, if you hadn't yet heard of AI, you're probably starting to. In just recent years, social media platforms have started to release new AI-powered audience targeting tools, and Google has yet again changed the world of search with their rollout of AI overviews and search results. There are obviously so many more AI developments that have occurred between the ones listed out here, but we wanted to call out these major ones that apply to our roles as marketers in the industry. We are in the period of the AI boom, where it seems like every day we're hearing about new AI technologies, and this growth isn't stopping anytime soon. AI in marketing is projected to surpass $107 billion in revenue by 2028. I just want to take another moment for that. $107 billion. And this isn't just 4 years, demonstrating how this industry will continue to thrive and release new and improved technologies. So now we want to hear from you all. We'll be sending out a very short Zoom poll. We are curious how often you use AI in your role. I think Mark will read out some of the responses we're seeing just to get a gauge. I know I'm increasingly starting to use AI in my role, but we're just curious how you all are utilizing it.
Apologies, I am unfortunately not able to see that. I don't know if Zach is able to see the answers come through.
Yeah, so far we have 22% say daily, 37% are saying a few times per week, 24% a few times per month, and 17% less than 1 month.
Well, very mixed, but that is awesome to hear. We hear if you're just starting to use AI, we hope this presentation inspires you to use it on a more frequent basis. But with Sarah, with that, I'll pass it off to you.
Thank you. So I'm so glad also to hear that everyone's beginning to use AI in their role. I know I find myself frequently using generative AI tools to summarize my notes. It just helps me stay so much more organized and alleviates my bandwidth a little bit. I'm really loving all of the help we get from AI these days. So we're going to start off by exploring how AI has transformed audience targeting. So as we can see here, in this lovely AI generated image, we have a very stressed and overwhelmed marketer who's racking his brain over all of the different ways we can target audiences in paid media campaigns. So before we had AI, audience targeting would take hours and hours to research interests and behaviors that correlated with engagement for the institution or program that we're promoting. And we know that, as higher ed professionals, you don't really have the time to be spending hours researching audiences. You have to send emails and do drip campaigns, and you have to coordinate open houses and events. There's so much to do. So any type of time saver that you can use is incredibly beneficial in making your workload a lot lighter. I remember in my experience, I would have to ask around with my coworkers if I hadn't run an audience-based campaign for a specific program before, and we'd all share our variants of audiences that worked, mainly through trial and error. And if we found a good combination, we would pretty much stick to it. There would be some manual adjusting. For new programs, there was a lot of educated guessing. And unfortunately, when we're sticking with that same mold over and over, it can lead us to missing out on high value prospects that we wouldn't intuitively think of being interested in your institution today. Now, this worked well enough at the time, but today's consumer journey is so much more complex. Students are touching so many different paid media campaigns and have so much less clear behavior as to when they're ready to take the next step with your institution. So it's quite difficult to, keep up with the challenge of audience targeting without using AI tools. Now, of course, we can see how happy and excited this marketer is to see how AI has helped her audience targeting. Those KPIs are just jumping off the computer screen, and that perfectly encompasses the benefit of AI in audience targeting. AI-powered tools help to remove the guesswork and instead lean on the platforms for the end result, and then they will find those who will get there. So strategies have adapted to all of the different changes in consumer behavior and focus more on intent versus how someone is described on paper. So there are many ways that we can, optimize audiences using AI. So one of the numerous examples here is our ability to select conversion goals for campaigns and then input information to help guide algorithms. Platforms will then do the heavy lifting of selecting which behaviors, interests, and demographics are most likely to engage based on its experience with tracking these users. Google Ads is one example of this, where we select specific conversion outcomes, and then the platform will show ads to prospective students who have demonstrated behaviors on their browsers that they're ready to take those conversion actions. Now, Meta is another one of these many examples, using Advantage Plus audiences to extrapolate first-party data from those who previously interacted with your institution, and then apply those signals to a new audience that's even more tailored, which will lower your overall cost per acquisition, as it avoids wasting spend on those who are unlikely to produce positive ROI. So Advantage Plus features can be applied to so many different audience types, custom, detailed, and even some lookalike audiences to expand your in-market reach. Now, on the topic of lookalike audiences, first-party data is the golden ticket for AI to find the best and highest value prospective students. Lookalike audiences have been around for a while now, but with AI, their capabilities have just skyrocketed. We're now able to discover new prospects by meshing AI with your own data of enrolled students. This gives you greater opportunity to expand your reach with the endless amounts of signals that platforms have gathered based on what it knows about your institution, and then finds people who share characteristics to your current students that would also likely be interested in attending. Now, LinkedIn gets even more specific with your goals. Their predictive audiences feature has seen a lot of success on Carnegie's side, combining LinkedIn's AI with your own data sources, such as lead form submissions, and more to automatically generate a new audience that's likely to take a similar action to what the data you uploaded represents. So this helps to give the platform detailed insights on your typical student profile and the intent behind each of these prospective students, and then also help to widen your reach and find those who you might not think would be interested in your institution, but have demonstrated very strong behavior to indicate they're ready to take that action.
So now that we've discussed how AI can help identify new prospects and optimize engagement within our audience targeting, let's explore AI's transformation on ads and their content. Thank you to ChatGPT for providing us with a very realistic image here. If you can believe it, this is exactly what I look like when I'm stressed and overwhelmed, pulling my hair out, don't know what to do. But we did this so that we didn't have to spend a bunch of time Googling photos to use. And all jokes aside, this really does speak to the power of AI and the time it saves marketers. When we think about how AI changes our roles, most of the time it allows us to be more efficient with certain tasks. Before AI, marketers and design teams could spend hours reviewing stock images to find the Goldilocks one that best suits the campaign or keeps up with current trends. Half the time was simply coming up with a good enough search query so that the results you were hoping for would even show up. And sometimes it could feel like you just could never find the absolutely right image. And not to mention editing videos. The time it takes to clip videos to the correct length, stitch them together, all while researching current trends is consuming to say the least. And even developing copy, we would have to research to find the different value props to use, research how a specific degree could bring value to a prospective student, and then actually draft that copy from scratch. I know I'm exhausted just thinking about doing all this. These are very time-consuming, detail-oriented tasks that AI can help us accomplish. With AI, a lot of the tools out there help us save time from these more detailed tasks, allowing us to spend more time using the analytical and creative parts of our brains. Instead of spending hours looking for just one photo or editing one video or writing copy for one campaign, we can now spend more time evaluating creative and copy performance to see what's resonating with our audience, brainstorming changes if something isn't resonating, and making those broader strategic decisions to help boost the performance of our marketing efforts. And the image here really shows how much happy we are to spend our time doing this. So as Sarah mentioned, there are a lot of AI tools out there, so we just want to share a few of the many ways AI can help enhance ad creative and content. First, and again, just one example, we can develop creative concepts inspired by platform trends and user behavior insights using TikTok's Symphony Assistant. Say that 3 times fast. This is an AI-powered virtual assistant designed for collaboration. It helps guide you on creative best practices, top performing trends, and tips for getting your institution ready for success on the platform. This tool can generate video ideas, scripts, and even provide video references that you can use when brainstorming ideas for new TikTok videos, whether they be posted to your organic page or used as ads. In this one place, you can learn about what's trending on TikTok, how to create for TikTok, gather that inspiration to brainstorm ideas, and write and refine scripts, all personalized to your institution and the program or initiative you're looking to promote. This can save time researching current TikTok trends, and instead you can spend more time actually creating the videos and evaluating performance. I know for me, starting is the hardest part of anything. Staring at that blank screen or blank page always feels daunting, but with this tool, it helps reduce that feeling of stuckness we sometimes get and gives you a foundation to build off of. We can also leverage responsive search ads and TikTok Smart Creative to test different ad elements, ensuring that the content aligns with students' preferences. With responsive ads, you can upload your assets, so headlines, descriptions, images, and Google AI will generate ad combinations for websites, apps, YouTube, and Gmail. The algorithm then determines the optimal combination of assets for each ad slot based on your performance history and serves these combinations to users. We have an example of a responsive ad on the slide here. So as you can see, Google will place different headlines and descriptions you've already specified in those different placements to test which combination is resonating the most with users. This optimal combination is then served to users more and more, enhancing the ad's effectiveness. With TikTok Smart Creative, it's a similar thing. It's an automated creative solution that optimizes ad creative combinations. It uses fatigue detection and auto refresh strategies to reduce ad fatigue and improve cost efficiency over time. Similarly, with the example here, TikTok will test various combinations of videos, headlines, and call to action elements to serve the optimal, or in other words, most engaging combination to users. With both these tools, instead of manually running A/B tests to assess performance against various creative, copy, call to action elements, we're able to automate this process, saving us lots of time. We're able to then spend more time gleaning insights from what's performing well and helping us inform future ad content ideas and decisions. Continuing with just a few more examples of the many AI tools out there to help with creative production management, we're also able to fill creative gaps to launch campaigns faster with generative asset tools in Google Ads. As I alluded to earlier, creating multiple high-quality image assets can be difficult and time-consuming. So Google Ads offers generative AI tools to help you create new image assets in seconds. You can enter a prompt that includes information about your institution and the program or initiative you're promoting, and you're able to bring your creative vision to life and receive those tailored assets. So as I mentioned, instead of spending hours looking for images, AI can simply create what we're looking for. And finally, last but not least, we can craft compelling platform-optimized copy. We all can probably relate to the feeling of struggling with writer's block. I know I can. So this is where AI tools like ChatGPT and Gemini can help. These tools are a great resource for inspiring copy that can then be customized to fit the personality and branding of your institution. AI also has the ability to tailor copy to specific audience segments for higher engagement. For example, you can ask why someone would earn a degree from your specific institution, what a particular audience values, what someone can do with a specific degree, et cetera, et cetera. These tools can also help with content ideation, as one of the strongest uses for AI is research and outlining. It can gather URLs and upload documents into one easy-to-read outline or create a list of value propositions. Though as a quick note, the sources of this research should always just be checked for accuracy. In the example pictured here, we can use AI tools as a starting point for copywriting. This is a pretty basic example, but it gives us inspiration that we can then build off of and customize as needed. AI tools can help us with the least creative parts of copywriting: research, outlining, proofreading. That way, we're leaving more time and energy for the most creative, human-centered part of our roles: content creation. These tools are designed to save time from marketers working on more menial tasks, and instead spend time working on refining, strategizing, and being creative.
Content generation backed by AI is definitely a huge help in making campaign management more efficient. So we're now going to see some other ways that AI has helped remove menial tasks from digital marketers' plates, which frees up time for us to connect with clients and focus on the bigger picture. So as you can see here, this very stressed marketer in this AI generated image is just trying to figure out how to fit every single little task that involves campaign management into her busy day. And this is very representative of the experience of all the different things that marketers have on their plates. I mean, just reflecting on my role a few years back, it looked so different than it does today. On Google Ads, we would set bids for each individual keyword, and then we'd have to adjust based on competition and performance as the campaign ran its course. This was incredibly time consuming, and we were constantly chasing new queries that were next on Google search. Additionally, keywords were interpreted exactly as they were written, contingent on match type. So the option to expand reach to think of the consumer intent was non-existent. This required constant new keyword research to keep up with what's trending. So to give you an idea of how daunting the Google search engine is, 15% of daily searches on Google have never been searched before. That makes it nearly impossible for us to keep up with all of the new queries that Google is seeing every single day. Generally speaking, though, there are so many paid platforms for prospective students to use. To ensure that we show ads exactly at the moment they're ready to take action is incredibly costly and time-consuming when we approach it in the siloed manner that we previously did, running campaigns channel by channel. And then lastly, thinking of ways to optimize campaigns, we would solely base our optimizations on the way that a student's behavior was reflected in our KPIs. We did not have any deeper insight on audience behaviors and trends to help us have a deeper understanding of how we can move the campaign forward. So this very relaxed and put together digital marketer here can show that AI is really helping us in being able to maintain campaigns more efficiently. So AI now ensures our campaigns are optimized based on platform learnings and conversion history to generate more effective campaign management. And we're able to use so many different tools to run campaigns more effectively and have the capabilities to mesh platforms into one to ensure that we meet prospects as they move throughout the funnel. So one of the ways that we've seen more effective campaign management is through automated bidding strategies. All we have to do is set what we want the outcome of the campaign to be, and the platform will use AI to help us bid effectively to meet that goal. So there are like a lot of different AI-based bidding strategies out there, and we encourage marketers to test and find which works best for your institution. So just the ones that I mentioned here are small sample of all the ones that are out there. I love testing bidding strategies. It's a really great way to see a direct impact on campaign performance. So as a paid search specialist, Google Ads, one of my favorite platforms that has AI-backed smart bidding. One example of this is the maximize conversions bidding strategy. So coupling that with broad match keywords, it relies on a ton of different signals, such as location, devices, browser behavior, and more, to get the most conversions possible within your budget, and analyzes user intent versus a user query. Just a few ways that we can also consolidate campaign management is through Meta and Performance Max. So these enhance your ad placements by removing the need for standalone campaign types that have to run channel by channel. And instead, we can set a singular campaign budget, and the platform will optimize depending on where they think there will be the most conversions that stay within your budget in a given day. And then lastly, optimizing nowadays is so much easier and more insightful than it used to be. When it comes to making improvements, in Google Ads, we have access to the recommendation center, which gives tailored insights to each campaign that we're running. And they're easily denoted which ones are backed by AI by the little label that says this recommendation is an AI essential. So with those optimizations in mind, we can then, as marketers, combine our own expertise to apply these learnings to other campaigns and just make way more informed campaign improvements.
So now that we've covered a bunch of tools we can use for audience targeting, creative conceptualization and production, and campaign management, let's explore where AI is headed. First, we expect to see shifts in user behavior. Concise, AI-generated responses to user queries may result in fewer visits to your website, but prospective students will be more informed and primed to take high-value actions thanks to the high intent behind their engagement. Engaging with a chatbot not only indicates a high level of intent, but it also keeps someone in the conversation by providing the information they might have had to search up multiple times and scour the web for on different visits. So while it may result in reduced high funnel traffic, it may also result in prospects jumping straight down the funnel to take an action. Google's Gemini has shown this theory already, as that will show an ad in its AI overview based on what it predicts the user will search next, before they even type it in its search bar. Pretty cool. So if you're interested in hearing more about this topic, just want to shout out our colleague Kate McGowan's session on SEO in the AI era, happening later today at 4 p.m. Eastern. Next, we'll see a stronger emphasis on personalization. With consumers recognizing that marketers have the ability to possess a deep understanding of individuals, there will be an expectation for us to provide increasingly personalized ads and content. We're already moving in this direction, but it will become commonplace and at some point required in order to see solid results from our marketing efforts. With this level of connection to consumers, we anticipate that ads will be even more effective in encouraging students to take valuable actions. In addition, ensuring AI is used responsibly when it comes to consumer data and privacy will become even more important than it already is. Protecting privacy and promoting transparency by limiting data collection, safeguarding sensitive information, and empowering users to manage and understand how their data is used will only grow in importance and will become what is simply expected from online users. Before we move on, I just want to shout out some cool recent AI releases from some of the social media platforms. Within weeks of each other, Snapchat and Meta both released their versions of augmented reality glasses. These allow users to access digital experiences within the real world, so connecting with friends, playing games, accessing the internet. You can see there's a recipe being created based on ingredients that the glasses are identifying. They can pretty much do anything. So the future of AI is nothing short of exciting, and I know I personally can't wait to see what's next.
So now that we've seen how AI will likely continue to have an impact on consumers and prospective students, we're now going to see how AI will likely continue to impact digital marketing. So first, we've seen throughout this presentation that AI streamlines campaign creation, so we can expect reduced time to market and getting campaigns live faster as certain initial tasks can be automated. Campaigns will also continue to see KPIs improve as the platforms expand their reach and gain more insights to find new prospects that might fall out of the original idea of what you thought your student population looked like. Of course, as mentioned earlier, we'll also see how AI can move prospects down the funnel a lot faster. So this will result in a quicker path to conversion and faster goal achievement. And then lastly, a lot of AI tools are restricting the number of ads in their outputs, which leads to limited AI ad inventory. So consider some budget increases as we have to compete to be able to fight for those limited ad spots. So after attending this presentation today, we hope you've seen how AI can elevate your campaign performance through its advanced abilities to target and perform. Consider the importance of branding and strategic investment in this ever-changing data-restricted digital landscape, and then understand that AI can help you and your institutional goals through additional tools and capabilities that surpass human abilities. But on the topic of human abilities, did anyone catch the typos in the AI generated image we went over in the audiences section of this presentation? We'll see if Mark can monitor the chat here for anything people are seeing.
Definitely seeing people say yes, they noticed it, some in all
Yep.
caps. And actually a reference to it matching some similar outputs that they've received as well.
It's key, honestly. I mean, this just demonstrates the importance of why we still need humans in every aspect of utilizing AI tools, because AI still makes mistakes. Sometimes it can't do math, sometimes it can't properly type out the word audience. So I want you all to keep this in mind as we conclude our presentation with this quote from Neil Patel, who is a well-known influence in the digital marketing space. Despite all they can do, AI tools can't replace human judgment, creativity, and empathy. So while there is a ton that AI can help with, at the end of the day, it can't mimic the emotions and connections that humans are able to achieve. And also, it cannot determine the specific needs of your institution. We have linked some resources here at the end. So once this presentation is available on the website, please feel free to explore these. We also link some newsletters that are great to stay in touch with all of the updates regarding AI. And now we will have some time for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah and Alyssa. That was great. So much valuable content there, and a few questions that did come through as well. I'll try to navigate through some of the chat and Q&A to get to them all. So first up is, when you mentioned AI could analyze or review content performance, what platform were you referencing?
I guess this could go to a lot of different platforms. Mainly, I think Alyssa's reference was for Google. So we can see the performance of different combinations of headlines and descriptions in our responsive search ads. And then the platform will optimize towards whatever ones are resulting in the most clicks and conversions.
Okay, great. Thank you. And again, to any attendees, we do encourage you, if you do have questions as we have some remaining time here, go ahead and post them in the Q&A section. We'll try to get to as many of them as we can. One of the other questions from Nadia about LinkedIn, saying it has changed since being taken over from Microsoft. Honestly, they haven't used it as much for paid advertising. How are you currently finding success advertising on the platform? And I guess that might be through a AI lens too, as well as some of the effectiveness or approaches being taken.
Yeah, I can take this one. First of all, we love LinkedIn here at Carnegie. I will preface this some of my notes here by saying that LinkedIn's actually presenting tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern about telling your story on LinkedIn. So if you're curious to learn more, I would encourage you to join that session. But from a personal experience here, I mean, LinkedIn has a multitude of ad formats to really highlight like those key value props you're looking to promote. In terms of AI usage, LinkedIn's predictive audiences tool is great in kind of identifying those higher intent prospects that we may not be able to identify with our manual audience targeting. So I would say that LinkedIn just has a lot of varied ad formats that we can use, but definitely just encourage you to attend that session tomorrow. And if you can't watch the recording, I think there will be a lot of valuable information there.
Great, thank you. And I saw just a quick, I guess, follow-up question on the just with regards to LinkedIn and about undergraduate audiences. What
Yeah,
would you say about just effectiveness or
yeah,
focus on
definitely.
undergrad?
We tend to find success more with graduate audiences on LinkedIn, although we can target parents on LinkedIn. So that's a way we're able to kind of reach that undergraduate market, not directly, but through their parents, which, as we know, are very influential in college decision making. So that is one way we can use LinkedIn to reach that undergraduate market indirectly.
Great, thank you. Question comment from Alex had talked about some of the obvious usage of it for cost savings and time savings, and even potential impacts on teams and things like that for efficiency. But in particular, what competitive edge does this provide for institutions attempting to create innovative content that break the mold, not just generate into the current trend?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question. I mean, frankly, the one of my favorite uses of using AI is also to answer that question, so to speak. So, for instance, you can actually put your website into Chat GPT and do what we call in marketing a SWOT analysis. So, like strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and basically see how you can diversify yourself in this very competitive landscape. So I've found that really helpful to help optimize landing pages and add content to basically use that as our way to be cutting edge. Because the point here is to more so diversify your brand and show how you shine amongst all of the competition. And while, the content necessarily doesn't have to be exactly perfect in that respect, the more so the point being just making sure that you're really standing out. And AI can really help you determine what you have that others don't.
Great, thank you. Jacob asked, do you feel like AI is a Pandora's box that since it is out, we might as well use it?
Take that one, Alyssa.
I can start us off here. I think there are a lot of great use cases for AI, and because it's is seeming so new to us that we can't really be going from 0 to 100 just hopping on the AI train. I think we all need to just start by using what feels comfortable to us, whether it's asking questions in ChatGPT, or I think someone asked how we created those images. That was ChatGPT. So just little ways like that, summarizing notes, and then in terms of outside of kind of role usages and digital marketing, if it's out there, I think it's definitely worth testing. Again, not you don't need to hop on the bandwagon necessarily, but I think it is worth testing, seeing how your results are, and kind of seeing if it's effective and useful for your institution.
I love that. Honestly, I'm fully in agreement with what Alyssa just said. I think the almost the worst thing we can do in this era is resist AI because it's definitely not going away. We've seen that over the past over 50 years at this point. Like it's going to be a key, like a cornerstone of everything we do. So just getting comfortable with AI, starting with basic exercises. There are a lot of resources out there that you can look at for prompts to ask a generative AI bot and then get some information that is best suited for your role. So just starting to use it in a little bit of a way to get familiar is going to be key to making sure that you're not trying so hard to push back when it's going to be here and it's going to stay. So
I like some of these questions. Definitely seem to be interested in your opinions on these things. So I love what's being asked here, while you say AI will not replace our human creativity, do you feel like it will reduce our own creativity as we rely more and more on AI to do more parts of our jobs?
Sarah, do you want to start out here? 'Cause I think you kind of already touched on it.
Yeah, I think the thing about AI is that it's going to require us to be more creative in a sense, because like we talked about in one of the earlier questions, like some of the AI content can sound similar. So the way that we have to use AI creatively is by you can feed it, for example, like different types of messaging that you use in your brand, and then that will help to, you know, spark some ideas with AI. So it's just really great to be able to help us in kind of thinking of how we can use it and like exercise that level of creativity.
Yeah, that sounds great. I would only add on by saying that I don't think AI should be a crutch. I think it should be a tool to help us be more creative, but I don't think it's going to do the job for us. Nothing can, as Sarah mentioned that quote, nothing can really replace human creativity. These AI tools, like a lot of it has similar outputs. So I think we have certain creative requirements to make it personalized, make it customized to our institutions that we're promoting, and make it, yeah, deeply like differentiated than what else is out there.
Great. This one goes a little bit back to some of, I believe, Sarah, what you were covering on some of the audience development.
Yeah.
But are there any distinctions with what you were describing and providing overviews of between like undergraduate focus and graduate focus as you utilize AI and lists and lookalikes and things like that across the different platforms to build those audiences?
Yeah, it can be a little bit trickier with the undergraduate audience because there is a lot of restrictions on under 18. So we do really appreciate using first party data for that, because that definitely helps us in optimizing our campaigns. But generally speaking, first party data is really helpful for any audience. I'd say one of the biggest ways I've found it helpful with using AI and student lists is in those more unique programs. So if you're considering, rolling out a new program for your institution and you have an initial class or at least a list of inquiries, that can really help us marketers be able to find people using these AI tools that are most likely to at least be interested and have some level of engagement with our ads that could then inspire more and more audience creation.
Great. And then there was one last question, I believe, in the chat, which see actually one response to already, but how do you utilize AI outside of the platforms to help within the platforms? I know I've used CPT for ad copy and KW research. Any other uses you find yourself using?
Sarah can start if you want. I know for me in the early stages of adopting kind of using AI technologies, if anyone's been in Meta or LinkedIn, there are thousands of different audience targeting parameters we can use, and our brains aren't able to really point out all the different things we could be targeting, especially for more specific campaigns that aren't very common. But ChatGPT is a great resource for asking someone, hey, you can even include a URL to the web page, be like, hey, I'm looking to promote this program. Who should I be targeting on LinkedIn and Meta? And it will provide specific demographics if that's something you're interested in, looking at specific interests, specific job titles if you're looking at LinkedIn. So that's a really great way, instead of using an AI tool on the platform, to use AI to enhance kind of our audience targeting ourselves, and then be able to make those kind of human calls of, do I want to include this parameter? Do I not? Sarah, I'll see if you have anything to add.
Yeah, I love that. Definitely on paid search and all the different Google Ads campaign types. The AI tools externally are amazing for helping with my favorite topic, a subset of PPC, which is landing pages. They're so crucial to a successful PPC strategy. So ChatGPT can do, like I mentioned earlier, a really great competitive analysis. I love to, research what are the top institutions in this area, what do they have to offer versus this is my institution, what is different about us compared to them, and then really highlighting those, competitive attributes to help improve our landing pages. I also had mentioned using ChatGPT for summarizing notes and just making things a lot more concise. There are also AI tools that can help you with other types of tasks, like, there's even an AI based presentation generator, which is pretty cool. I really like to use that as basically a jumping off point, and then of course tailoring and tweaking it to fit what I want and what I think best suits whatever the topic is of the presentation. So there's, endless ways. There's so many different tools, and definitely I would suggest checking out the top digital marketing. Oh, a little link in there. That's awesome. Thank you, John. Checking out all the different news outlets for digital marketing and seeing what suggestions they have as well for how you can enhance your work with AI tools. So, yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much. I believe we're a minute or so over time, so we will wrap things up here. Alyssa, Sarah, we appreciate so much your time today. For all the attendees that joined us today, thank you so much. This is such great content, and also I definitely invite and encourage those to seek out some of that additional content that was posted on one of the slides too that Carnegie provides. It's definitely one of our goals to continually provide free resources and content like this as often as possible for everyone. So I appreciate that very much. If you are interested in connecting with Carnegie on your own digital strategy, you can use the QR code here to sign up for a free digital consultation. And we're also offering a 25% discount on Google Analytics audit or brand lift study to anyone who attended this session as well. So a nice offer for attendees there as well. So again, if you have any questions regarding the conference, need any technical help or anything like that, please email conferences@carnegiehighered.com or message us through the Ask Organizers Anything section within Whova. And you can obviously also check out the entire agenda over the next 3 days of sessions that you can elect to attend. Next up at 2 o'clock Eastern Time, we're excited to have Technolutions joining us on their session, It Takes a Slate Campus, Exploring Slate for Student Success. So once again, that's at 2 o'clock Eastern next up on our agenda. So thank you all for attending today, and we hope you have a great remainder of the day.